So it's early May today, and I am on a property here in southern Iowa, and I'm doing a hinge cutting project for a landowner who had me come out last December, and I did a habitat plan for him. And so now he wanted me to come back this spring and execute some of the hinge cut bedding. So anyway, what I wanted to do here is show you a hinge cutting project that I just finished here yesterday, and why hickory trees are some of the best trees to hinge cut, bar none. So I'm on the north edge of this hinge cut bedding area, and it borders up to a field which is going to be turned into some food here. And this is where the deer will come out and feed out at the end of the day. But what I wanted to show you here is how this sets up. So right here we have a fence that ends. The fence goes all the way down toward the east, and all the deer come out right here at the end of the fence. So you can see the trail that comes right out. And this used to be all wide open woods, big high canopy. And so, yes, there is some understory in here, but we just made the security cover and the horizontal structure that deer can relate to for bedding much better. And so this is it's a kind of a high ground peninsula that slopes downhill away from the field. And it's a southern facing slope. And so by putting all this hinge cut bedding in here, the deer are really going to use this, and they've got confined travel routes now to go through. As you can see, we've got a lot of open sky now. A lot of that canopy is gone. And underneath some of these big trunks, we have opportunities for bedding. And the thing I really like about shagbark hickory is the fibers are so thick and tough that they cooperate very well. This big tree up ahead right here was one of the first trees I dropped. This is the foundation tree. I left quite a bit of meat on that hinge, so that thing is going to stay attached and stay elevated for a long time. So the trees are on top are going to be able to breathe because the head's not jammed into the ground. And so those will stay alive for a very long time. These trees will continue to grow leaves and provide a lot of browse for the deer and a lot of horizontal structure. So here we got a trail coming through here. Opened up a trail going out this way toward the food plot. But we have a trail. I opened up a trail coming out of here. This trail here had a lot of trash on it. Had to be cleaned up, like this cedar right there. But then we got this cedar that's right in the middle of the deer trail. And so what I do is I just cut off the bottom branches, and then I take my chainsaw, and just kind of scarf up the side of that thing. You can really smell the aroma coming off that tree now. So I imagine deer are going to take it right over. And here's another one right here. A lot of branches on that tree, so I cut them all off, scarfed it up, and now the deer should be able to take it over. Then we got another little high ground peninsula that drops off away from the field, but we really don't want to put any bedding over here because the tree stand is way off to the other side, and this is going to pull the deer away from that tree stand. So we'll go back over toward the tree stand. I'll show you how this thing sets up. And so here's a trail that I opened up to go back through the bedding area. This right here is a big trash zone. That's where all those treetops were dumped into, all on top of each other. And so, I hear some guys talk about how, you eliminate the canopy way up above, but when you hinge cut, you bring the canopy down to the ground so nothing can still grow. But if you think about it, all these trees, the canopy produced by these trees are all in one spot now. They're not spread out across the whole sky, shading everything, right? So now all the treetops are in one spot, And now we got all this open sky to allow regeneration. So don't be fooled by people saying that you're bringing canopy down to the ground. It is going to regenerate in here like crazy. So here we are. This is a great opportunity in here for deer to want to bed. A lot of overhead cover, a lot of sticks and crap on the ground. So I had to come in here and, you know, cut a lot of these branches off and clean the ground up. Let these deer lay on clean ground. They don't want to lay on sticks and stones, right? So we're going to come around here. We got more bedding opportunity under there. Opened up a little bed right here. And guaranteed deer will use this. And so now they got an escape route out that way, going downhill. And then we come around this way. Yeah, we got another tree right here. Some more bedding opportunity under there. So, you know, we clean up the branches and make it nice for them. We come around here, going downhill a little bit more. And this is, some of these smaller ones here are just kind of creating a perimeter cover around this bedding area. And it is kind of, this right here is kind of acting like a blockade. So the deer are going to have to go out this trail there, which is going to lead them past the tree stand. So this trail had to be cleaned out. They can get out right here. And ultimately we want them to go about right here. This is about where the hub's going to be. And so you can see the trail that goes out to that field where we started. And we got this hinge right here that's, you know, a good 5 feet off the ground. They can walk underneath it. But once they get to right here, we've got a tree stand right there. And this trail goes downhill toward the creek. And then it goes back up on the other side to a corn and soybean field on the other side. And we had a lot of honeysuckle here on the left side of this trail. And some of that stuff was 3-4 feet tall and would not allow the deer hunter to get a shot from that tree stand. So as I'm hinge cutting in here, I'm cleaning up all this stuff here on the left side. So it's going to give him a clean shot opportunity. And so now the way the landowner is going to access that tree stand is he's going to come in from the east side. So he's going to come in perpendicular to this deer trail. He's going to come in the back side of that stand, climb up there, and he can only get there in the morning, right? Because this is a bedding area now, so you can't come in here in the afternoon. And he's going to wait until that last week of October during the pre-rut when the bucks are seeking, and he's going to hunt it with a west wind, obviously, right? So a scent is blowing away from the bedding area. But then the advantage of that too is that with this being west, where all the bedding is, as the wind comes toward this trail right here, this trail being on the east side of all the bedding, you can get a buck coming right down this trail and he can scent check that whole bedding area with that west wind. And so it's good for the buck so that he can scent check this bedding area, but then it's also great for the landowner because he's going to be downwind of the buck as well. So just really sets up very well. We do have a little bit more hinge cutting opportunities in here where deer can bed. We had one that broke off and landed across the trail, so just had to cut a piece out of that, let them through. Now we're getting back up on top again. We have another big hinge cut right here where, you know, we've got another bedding opportunity underneath there. Had to go and clean all that out. There's an escape route through here. And then this brings us back to this trail where we're getting close to the food plot edge again. So it took me about 3 hours to hinge cut this bedding area and clean out all the deer trails and clean out all the beds out. And the fact that I was able to do it in 3 hours is because I was cutting shagbark hickory. So if I was cutting maple or poplar, pin oak, red oak, you know, black oak, those types of trees, you know, none of that stuff is really going to stay attached and stay elevated. So you have a lot of stuff falling on the ground, and it takes a lot of detail work to clean all that up. You don't have that with hickory. So, you know, I really think hickory is probably one of the best trees that you can have for hinge cutting. There are other species as well, like hackberry, elm, even white oak. Those hinge very well. They stay attached, stay alive. But really, shagbark hickory is hard to beat. You know, if you were to come in here and do a hack and squirt instead, and maybe girdle some trees because you wanted to open up the canopy. You know, really think about it. How long is that going to take, right? I mean, yes, you're going to open up the canopy, but you still got all that vertical structure in there. But when you hinge cut, you've got horizontal structure on day one. And the deer are going to relate to this so much faster. I would imagine, you know, the deer are going to be in here tonight browsing on all this stuff. And I would imagine if you were to take a thermal drone and fly it over this bedding area here this fall, you're going to see a lot more activity than if this place was girdled or hack and squirt, right? So anyway, don't let anybody tell you that, you know, hinge cutting is bad. I'm telling you, this is one of the fastest ways that you can improve your property from a standpoint of cover and security, reduce sight lines, and you can actually put deer and bed them right where you want to. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.